This morning, I have the privilege of speaking with director Andrew Baird. He is the one behind the thriller sci-fi film Zone 414, or very, very entertaining film. Uh, Congratulations on a very, very well thought out film. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. And absolutely, the definitive important word is entertaining. I mean, that's what we set out to do, is entertain, and it's very much like an old pulp novel, very noir. And I made a video for the weekend, and the writer saw it, and ICM sent me a script, and the writer Brian Hill wrote the script, and it was really intelligent and just lean and quite dark, and I really loved it. And it took a few years to get the elements together, because it was my first movie. And but once we did, the process of making it was really, really enjoyable. And I really made a lot of effort to kind of get the best actors I could. And I'm very proud of the cast we got together on it. And then to get to work with Guy Pearce as your first kind of lead in a movie is pretty good. I mean, so I think a lot on Zone. I just smart. Well, if you're even attempt to be smart, that's what you should do, and I learned a lot from Guy. There's a couple of things I should have probably pushed back on, and I didn't. But so I've just finished shooting my second movie, and that was with Kevin Bacon and Machine Gun Kelly, and it's going to be great too. But it's called One Way, and that will be out next year. But Guy was just amazing, and so is Travis. Travis is I just worked with Travis again on this other movie, and he's just the business. And then Matilda was very strong and had a real kind of clear idea of how she wanted Jane to be. And I think she shaped a lot of the tone of the film. I think Matilda really did do that, because the movie could have been a lot darker than it is. And it could have lost some of its ability or its audience, but I think with Matilda, we kept it quite classy and beautiful, so it's good.
I wanted to hit on that note, actually. When you're doing a sci-fi thriller, sometimes, especially now you're introducing AIs, you're doing this whole world building, you can lose the story a little bit by being distracted by maybe things not being done so well.
Yeah.
I think what I really loved about Zone 414 was Matilda's portrayal of Jane, and kind of the balance that she kept in not being too robotic, where it just seemed kind of funky, and at the same time not being too human, where we're now it's just another character. Moments like just one moment I want to point out, when she's feeling a specific emotion, she does very well at her facial expressions, trying to comprehend, and then says it out loud. I feel afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Can you comment a little bit on that?
Well, what's interesting about Matilda, I suppose, is Matilda's Italian, but she's also American. And what's interesting is I'm American or Irish, but I'm also American now. And it's like, I think that helped. And I think that, to me, I find that's really interesting about Matilda is that she's a mixture, and I suppose with Jane, she has a real human instinct, stronger than the average human, but she's not human. She is a robot or whatever. I suppose it'd be like if you're transgender or something and you're male, but your instincts are female, or vice versa, and whatever. So it's kind of like that sort of struggle, and that's what she's trying to find her identity. So I think as well too, I mean, genuinely, it's like, because same with myself, Matilda comes from two different places. There's that kind of identity that she maybe identified with Jane, like, you know, that Jane is coming from one place and or one, you know, and she's trying to be, she feels that she should be something else, something a lot more, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's how she feels about it, you know? And so, but, you know, Matilda is very intelligent and very strong and decisive. And I mean, she's really beautiful and very petite in person, but her personality, her spirit is beautiful, but is strong. She's a very strong individual. And we had a couple of run-ins, which wasn't a bad thing. Only one really. And, you know, she's great. It was wonderful. I'm really proud of that. Obviously, Matilda was the actor I worked with the most, and that we kind of worked together, you know. I mean, with Travis, I pitched him a concept, he rolled with it. Guy doesn't need to be pitched anything, you know, and then of course all the other actors. But with Matilda, we kind of worked together a lot. So I feel really proud of her that people have responded so well to her in the film, you know. And with anyone who's leading the movie or anyone who would have played that role, the vote would have been out. Are they going to do it? Are they going to deliver? Are they going to deliver? And Matilda delivered, you know. It's great. It's really cool. So I'm very happy about that.
Speaking a little bit more about your writer, Brian Edward Hill, I've had the chance to meet him quite a few times, actually. He wrote one of my favorite comic book stories ever, which is Postal, which is very character driven. And the reason I bring it up is because Guy Pearce's David, I really enjoyed his character development where you didn't have a specific scene where you kept spoon feeding us his personality, his past. It was more through storytelling where you find out a little bit more about him. I think the scene that sticks out to me the most is in the beginning where he shoots the AI and he really has no reaction, and then the way he treats Matilda to where he feels the need to help her, and that tells me he sees a little bit of humanity in her. And you know, it's not in your face, it's something that you just have to pick up. I just thought that his development was done so well to see that, yeah, he's gone through some things and he's kind of grungy and older, but there's still so much humanity in him.
Yeah, good. I'm glad, you know. And I didn't know you were familiar with Brian. And I mean, I don't know all these. I mean, Brian's has written so many comic books, and I mean, he's yeah, his writing, he has another script that I was going to do, and maybe we will do it down the road, but I just really like his writing, you know. I mean, I don't know what to say, you know. I mean, and it's just, it kind of there's another project I'm starting to work on now, and there was a writer brought in to work on it. And I just, you know, and actually personally not thrilled with the guy, but his writing's really good. And it's just the way it is. And Brian is a writer that when I read Zone, I'm like, I can make this movie. I can do this. This is absolutely the movie I should make. And as my first movie. And I'm just really fortunate that I got it. It took a bit, you know, because other people were interested in it as well. I mean, Brian got I don't know whether he sent it to me or ICM sent it to me, but anyway. And then of course Fox were trying to get it or something and I had to, like, you know, I had to hustle to get it, you know, to like lock it, even though it was sent to me. And it's just it was the characters as well. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, at the end of the day, if I want to make movies, then, and this is what I think I delivered on Zone as a director, because I cast it really well, and I just felt that I got it even with the name, with Guy and stuff. I really enjoy working with these people, and I kind of connect with them, and I don't know, it's good. So I can do all the visual stuff and the background stuff, and I get great people, and I know that stuff back to front and inside out. And it helps tremendously. But at the end of the day, you got to tell a story with great characters, and you got to inhabit those characters. You have to get great actors to play those roles, and I get great. I mean, that's for the, that brings great joy to me, like to cast and work with these actors. I mean, the very first movie I ever shot was a short film in film school, and it had all the visuals, all the huge kind of stuff. And I had these actors, really good actors from Ireland, and Irish film actors are very good. And I remember the cameraman saying to me, "You better like focus on the foreground, you're going to lose your actors." And I never forgot that. And ever since then, and I think Zone, I'm really proud of the cast we got. But again, it's down to Brian's script. That script was read by a lot of people, a lot of talent, and a lot of talent reps in LA and in London, and most people responded extremely well to it and said this is really strong, and that's completely down to Brian. So I sincerely hope we will find a way to do another project together, if it's not that one that I've earmarked, something else. But and yeah, I mean, so this is his first movie. This is the first movie that Brian, that's right, the first one he originated, yeah. And but since I was trying to make the movie over like 5 years, Brian kind of, his stock rose as a screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on Titans, the show. Is it DC? I think it's DC show.
Yeah.
And he's writing the new Power Rangers movie, and he's writing a whole bunch of big projects, and we'll see. I'm excited to see how it goes out and it's really getting a big push, where it's quite a small film. You'd be surprised, it looks much more lavish than we had the resources for. And then we've got Paramount working with Saban in the US to release it, and Rogers and Cowan are doing the PR. I mean, this is fantastic. And then we have Universal internationally. And I'm like, this is pretty good for a little independent movie. So I'm very grateful. So I'm excited to see how it goes down. But at the same time, is I've done what I've done, and I'm already on to my next projects, But I'm very lucky and grateful and excited to see it go out there.
Well, you should be very excited for it. You have a great cast, and then also something I wanted to point out is I really liked your cinematography as far as the lighting and making sure that, like you were saying, paying attention to your actors, paying attention to your characters, and not necessarily getting distracted by the backgrounds, by the sceneries, because that's not necessarily what's too important, especially in a kind of a world where you have AIs and things like that, where it's easy for some people to want to nitpick.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, what's interesting is when I got the script, like back in 5 years ago or whatever, the last thing I ever thought about was, I'm going to end up coming back to Ireland to make this science fiction movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell? And the cameraman, the DP, James Mather, he's a brilliant cameraman. I mean, James purposely decided to base himself in Ireland. I mean, our colleagues and friends went to LA like me, and some of them are, really successful. But James is just brilliant, and he's great with visual effects. He's a really bloody good filmmaker. And he'd actually made a film that he co-directed with the partner of his, with a guy called Lockout, about 10 years previous. So it was just great to work with him. I'd worked with James before, but it'd been a long time. And we did all the post in Windmill Lane here, which I'm in again in Dublin. And it was really special to be able to come back. And James was tremendously helpful when I was starting out, and so was Windmill Lane. So to make this American movie in north and south of Ireland and come back and engage with so many people that I, knew from a long time ago, that was really special. And then to have, there's some great Irish actresses in the movie as well. Alwyn Fuere, Fionnuala Flanagan, a wonderful actress, Antonia Campbell Hughes, unique actress, and Maggie Cronin from the North. It's great, you know, and these are really strong actors. And then it's a real, just because I didn't say this in any of the other interviews or whatever, but this movie is really representative of what can be accomplished in the north and south of Ireland. I just shot a movie in Georgia, and I was reminded how unbelievably expensive it is to work in the United States. And it's I mean, it would have cost 3 times the price to make this film anywhere in the United States. And I still doubt whether it would have been executed with this. It's really real example of how bloody good the filmmakers are in the north and south of Ireland, you know, and I'm super impressed and fortunate that we ended up coming here. Because when I found out, oh, we're probably going to have to go to Belfast to do the movie, I'm like, are you kidding me? How the hell do we do a science fiction movie in Belfast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out really good. So I was wrong, and I'm really grateful. So
it's one of those films. I think it's going to be a great example for what you're saying.
yeah.
So I don't want to let you go without asking you about Marlon Vade, Travis Fimmel's character, because I'm really curious as to where you made the decision on his physical appearance. If you guys tried some other things, or was that really the vision?
Here's the deal. Guy was thinking about playing the lead, but then he was going to go make his own movie. That didn't work out. Travis comes in, I'll play the lead. And then he gets busy with other stuff, and it looks like that's not going to work out. Then Guy comes and said, I'll do the lead. I'm going to do this. And he plays the lead and plays David. And I was sitting, I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, Travis is really busy. He's really busy. But what if he comes in and plays Marlon V? And I was like, what I thought was I really, if I haven't seen actors in stuff, I don't go and look, you know. And I knew that Travis was in Vikings, and I knew he was a bloody good actor. And I'd seen little bits, but I really hadn't seen Travis in much, you know. But I knew that he played the king in Vikings, and he was bloody good. And I was like, well, Marlon's a king, and Travis can be a king, but can be a really like gratuitous. And I literally said, look, man, what if you play Marlon, you put on a whole bunch of weight and you age up, and you just go full, almost like operatic, you know. And and I thought about like Marlon Brando or something in Apocalypse Now, and he rolls in like vastly overweight, and that was it. And Travis was like, fuck yeah, let's do it, you know. That's it, because he had the time to come. I think we shot Travis in a week or something, I can't remember.
Okay.
And once that was it, and once we said that, then I let Travis roll with it, and he worked with prosthetics, and he worked with the wardrobe team and makeup and everything, and they really crafted that role, you know. And that was it. And then the trick was to just let him go, you know, and then but make sure you bring him back down, you know. But a lot of that came in the edit as well, because it's easy to go too far, particularly when you've got all of this stuff. But he was just meant to be this appalling, disgusting, you know, just foul, but incredibly intelligent human being, you know. I mean, the opposite of what Jane kind of represents as human, you know. So, and it was just fun. And Travis loves to do these. I mean, in the next movie that we just did, I'm not going to talk about it, but there's not a lot of actors would have done what he did, and he was the first on. And he's courageous and fearless. He's great. So I'm glad you asked about him, because he's a hell of an actor, and I'm really lucky that I've just done my first 2 movies with him.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that being your first movie. And I think that it's just a very good combination of stories, actors, and director that came to make Zone 414 and make it such a great project, which is why I think you're getting such great reactions, and I think it'll continue only to grow.
Good. I sincerely hope so. I mean, it could be like it's definitely got like a kind of a pulpy sort of a cult sort of movie thing going for it. So thank you so much for your time, Emmanuel, and maybe we can do this again on my next movie.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Andrew, for your time. Thank you for the insight on the film, and we're all looking forward to it. September 3rd, theaters, on demand, and digital.
Awesome. Take it easy, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Take care.